recording, but I will record now. And welcome everyone to first win day and celebration of our good friend Slick William.
Well, thank you, TK. So for those of you who don't know me, but I think you all do, I'm Michelle Pasula Kugler, happen to be TK's wife. I'm also the community evangelist. So, you know, when you're getting I do all the fun stuff, basically. You know, I keep track of who's buying what horses, take care of collages, certificates, that sort of thing. And with our executive assistant do the social media work. So we've been working this, well, actually for months, planning this day. We unfortunately didn't really think about it last year. And I don't think he's on the phone, but Gary Quill, who's been a member from the very beginning, suggested, you know, this could be a big celebration for the stables. And so we've been thinking about this probably since I'd say last September about how best to celebrate First Win Day with people all over the country, because we have members as far west as California, all the way up into Maine. So as you've probably seen, if you're on Slack, we've had a few contests going on and trying to really hype up the excitement for this big day. Some of that involved voting on who is the Slick William award-winning horse, which TK will have the privilege of announcing after this. And then we had a few simple contests. As a reference point, I'm still currently in Florida after TK left. I actually headed a few hours north to be with my parents to help them out while my dad's having shoulder surgery. And the Wi-Fi here is a little bit weak, so if I were to actually do live video, I'd probably crash the internet. So I am here behind the screen. You just can't see me tonight. So the first award we're handing out was just a random, as long as you were a club member, you were entered in a raffle for a $50 Wasabi Ventures credit. So I used randomizer.com, put in almost 400 club members' numbers, and came up with number 186, which happens to be Chris Abderhalden, who is not on the call. So I will be announcing that on Slack later. So congratulations to him. He'll have a $50 credit in his account. And then on social media, we launched another contest. We, on both Facebook and Instagram, encouraged people to like our page, tag others in it, share the post, and once again, took all the posts, put them in a randomizer, and actually it chose someone who I do not believe is a club member. They go by the handle on Instagram of I am a beachcomber. So I need to reach out to this person because their Instagram handle doesn't say who they are. So if it's one of you, feel free to raise your hand and let me know. If not, I'm going to be reaching out to that person via social media. And this person has won a club membership. So if he or she is already a member, they can gift it, and a $25 credit to the stables. But we're pretty excited about tonight and the fact that 2 years in, we have grown fairly large. I mean, we have a club of almost 400 people. We have horses racing at a number of tracks. And I think even more than that, just as the person who's tasked with engaging the community, is that we do have such a vibrant and excited community of club members. So unlike TK, I am newer to the world of horse racing, so I've been learning along with all of you, and I've enjoyed not only learning more about the horses, but making a whole bunch of new friends through the stables.
Yep. Do you want me to jump in now, Michelle?
Not the link shade.
Yes, I don't have too much more. Those were my two simple prizes. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. I just didn't want to step on you. You know,
I appreciate that.
I've learned long ago, don't do that. So anyway, I had a couple stats for you that I thought the club, and since many of you are even newer club members, when we claimed Slick William 2+ years ago, obviously we claimed him probably 2 years and a month or so ago, we had 18, that's right, 18 active members. That was the entire club 2 years ago, 18 people. Nancy R, who just retired, about a month ago. Nancy R, who came along almost 6-7 months after Slick William, Nancy R had 11 members who had joined Nancy. We sold a whopping, I think, 15% or 17% of Nancy. We regularly sell 80% of every single horse now. So just to kind of give you the sense of how things have changed, Slack used to be a heck of a lot quieter. And for some of you, I know that might be good. But Slack used to be a heck of a lot quieter when we had a couple dozen people on it instead of the a few hundred that we have now. So anyway, I just thought you'd see and find the perspective interesting. Just to also give you the sense, but when we claimed Slick William, I think we had a whopping 6 horses that we had at that point. And a couple of those were 2-year-olds that had not raced yet. So compared to the fact that we now probably add about 6 horses a month these days. So we've come a long way, baby, as the song goes. So anyway, without further ado, I am going to announce the next prize that we had and contest we had. We ran a contest that we're going to run every year. And what we have, what we call it the Heart of Slick William. So it's really a contest where people will get to vote on which horse from that year, the year that just passed, ran with the biggest heart. And the winner, I think a very deservingly deserved winner.
Oh, one sec, TK.
Yeah.
You want to tell them how the horses were chosen that were nominated?
Oh, So we had approached each of our trainers and asked them of the horses that they trained for us that year, who they thought had the biggest heart. So we got the list. Was it 4 or 5, Michelle? I can't remember, but it was
5.
5. It was 5 horses that we chose that got chosen by trainers, and out of that, our winner was our dear old aforementioned Nancy R. And just to give you a piece of data for those of you who don't know the Nancy R story, we claimed Nancy R as a maiden. She was a maiden in a $10,000 claim race. And I'm going to mute some people. So we claimed Nancy in a $10,000 maiden claiming race at Laurel. And Nancy, over I think it was 18-month period, she won twice, but that was only after she finished 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, I think an amazing 16 times. Nancy was basically a cash register for us. She won almost $100,000 for us on a $10,000 claim. And she finally did win twice, once at Timonium and once at Pimlico. So we were able to sneak out 2 wins before we retired. Nancy was completely sound when we retired her. She just couldn't quite compete at the non-winners of 3 level. So we did the thing that we always do with our horses. We found them a great home. We worked with a great program called Beyond the Wire, and about a month ago found her a new home, and she's beginning her new career and is safe and sound. So Nancy R was our first winner of the Heart of Slick William award. So really, Laura, I know Floyd just sent a little chat message. That she was so deserving. She was a horse that, honestly, Nancy doesn't have a whole heck of a lot of talent, but Nancy tries really, really hard, and you really didn't have many races where she wasn't, somewhere between 2nd and 5th. And like I said, she for those that were in Nancy, I think they earned almost 2.5 times their money as well. So for a horse that was around that long and gave that many thrills, to get 2.5x your money back after all that time, that's also a good story. So, so it's quite exciting. The other thing I was going to mention, I showed you the picture earlier that's hanging on the wall, and up there we have the jockey on Slick William was a guy named Lane Luzzy, a young kid. Lane rode for us quite a bit in the beginning when we first started. Lane was kind of our first call up jockey. And so Lane rode Slick William to our very first win. And he, my mom is calling on my phone, so I turned that off real quick. Anyway, Lane rode for the very first win that we ever had on Slick. And next, I think it's next week, we're actually going to have Lane Luzzy be a guest on our webinar. And you're going to get to come in and talk to Lane. Lane is currently riding in Texas. He runs the Texas and Oklahoma cycle right now, and moved his tack out west, and he's done very, very well there. I think he's been averaging, he may be one of the top 3 riders at Sam Houston right now. So, so Lane's had a really good season out west, and he's a really great kid. And has a lot of great stories. So we're going to be really excited to have Lane up next week when we do the next webinar. So hopefully everybody can come out. So
TK, that webinar is next Thursday at 6:30, and registration is live.
Yep. So you can find webinars. If you find any of our upcoming webinars, you can sign up for them. On our website, there's a link at the bottom for webinars, and you can click it and it'll take you to sign up and make sure you get all the registration for that. That is our celebration evening. That was the agenda we have. But since we have everybody here, I'm happy to answer any questions anybody might have about the club or specific horses. No reason to waste the time. I'm happy to answer any cycles or anything anybody might have. If you want to do a chat, you can chat right in the bottom of the app. There's a little button that says chat, and if you click chat, it'll let you ask questions. Well, I give you a couple seconds to do that if you want to ask any questions. I want to let everybody know there are 2 horses. Our 2 most recent claims are up on the website still, and still both have availability. Midnight Shine went up today, and Detroit Cowboy are both up and both available. So you should be able to jump on in either one of those. Both of them came back well and are looking good, and both of them should be at a race at Oaklawn in the next, I would say, couple weeks. Really interesting too about Detroit Cowboy. He is actually an Arkansas bred. Steve asked, I saw something on Twitter in early February, so quickly explain how this works. I'm not sure what that means, Steve. I'm happy to answer a question, but I don't know what it is. But the interesting thing about being an Arkansas bred is that you get to run in restrictive races out there. They run a bunch of restrictive races only for Arkansas breds. Steve said, Lauren asked a question. Can you talk a little bit about your goals for the stables in this coming year? Yeah, I think some of that has not changed from early on. I put out a document, I think in January, that talked a little bit about it. Let me give you a couple highlights. One of our goals this year is to add a stakes win at Maryland Million Day. uh, to win a Maryland Million Day race. Last year, I think we had 7 horses run on Maryland Million Day. This year, we'd like to win one. We've done pretty well the first 2 years that we've been there, but the target goal this year is get a little bit better and try to win one. Second, I think overarching goal is we are going to add, starting with Johnny, we're going to put a string with Johnny Ortiz at Indiana Grand. That is probably a new goal for all of you. I met, it's a really great story. I've known of Johnny. Johnny's father actually works for Adam Parker. And Adam is our go-to bloodstock agent in Florida. He works a lot of auctions with us, and he helps us break our babies that we keep in Florida. And Adam employs Johnny's father as an exercise jockey. And so about 6 months ago, Adam told me, hey, you got to go look up Johnny Ortiz. He's really crushing it, and he's a good kid. Get to know him. And lo and behold, I get out to Oaklawn, and I needed a favor so that we could start claiming. And I ran into Johnny Ortiz, and he did a favor for us. So just to show you how small the world is. So, but in talking to Johnny, who is a really great trainer, and we're very excited to have him on part of our team, we are going to put a string at Indiana Grand when their season opens up in the summer. Johnny is convinced that if we go there with the right 5 to 10 horses, we actually can win the owner contest. We can be the leading owner at Indiana Grand for this summer. So that is one of our goals now, and we're gonna work with Johnny, and hopefully work with Johnny for a long time. So that's a new one. Other than that, we're going to continue to try to build and dominate in the Mid-Atlantic area. We have also increased our presence in New York with 1 broodmare there now and 2. So we're starting from the breeding side in New York, but obviously the breeding side flips to the racing side over time. So that will be that's what's coming there as well. But those are some of the overarching goals. We're going to continue to expand the breeding side of what we've been doing with the broodmares, and you may see us expand into a stallion or 2 or 3, depending on how the world goes. I have some interesting discussions that I've started on the sire front. It's still early, so I don't really have anything to announce there, but I think 2019 will see us land a stallion in the Mid-Atlantic area as well, which will be really quite interesting if all of that plays together. So hopefully that gives you a little flavor, Lauren. I see there was a thread.
TK, if you let me take that question, I found the tweet he's talking about.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Steve, I think you saw a tweet that we retweeted from one of our club members talking about due to his charm having 4% left. Since that time, due to his charm has not only sold out, but he's run and been claimed away. But if you're, like, I followed the thread between you and Lauren, so if you're not a club member yet, I'd highly encourage you to become a member of the club. There's a $25 fee. If you go to wasabistables.com, you can become a club member for $25. And then anytime we have horses available, right now we have 2. We have Midnight Shine and Detroit Cowboy. As a club member, you get early notification when our horses go for sale, because we've had horses sell in as little as 3 hours. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But then if you go to our website and you go to our horses page, they're in order of availability, and you would see them there, and you could see our pricing, which is a $99 fee, and then a percentage of what the horse costs. Horses that are 10,000 or under, you can buy anywhere from 0.5% to 3% of. Plus that flat $99 fee, and you're a co-owner of one of our horses. So anyway, like I said, due to his term, sadly sold out, not even with our club anymore, but we do have two horses that are running in Arkansas that are available.
Thanks, Michelle.
You're welcome.
There's a question from, I think it's Don Walsh, at least Don W, and I'm going to guess it's Don Walsh. Who's the first call jock for us in Maryland? Is it Sheldon or Rosario? The short answer there is Rosario Montanez is our first call all the time, with some caveats. I'll just give you commentary here. I absolutely love Rosario Montanez. I think he is a great rider, but like all athletes and all humans, he has his pieces of riding and certain situations that he is not as strong as as some other people, and sometimes people jockeys connect with certain horses better. The story why Sheldon was up on Chacomont, or had the first call up for Chacomont, and he happened to be out of town when Rosario rode him to a win. Sheldon was riding a stakes race in New York at the time, so he missed the weekend in Laurel, and he missed our win for that matter. But Sheldon actually had been riding Chacomont before we claimed it, and he called almost immediately, and when we claimed it, and said, "I love this horse. Give me a chance to ride it." And usually, when you have a jockey, especially someone like Sheldon Russell, who's a journeyman jockey and knows, and we like to work with. You give that jockey a chance when they do that. So anyway, that's the short answer there. But Rosario Montanez will get the bulk of our first calls at this point. That won't change. It doesn't mean we won't occasionally have situations where other jockeys ride. If you'll notice, Horatio Caramanos rides a couple of our horses. When Uweri Sky comes back and starts riding on the grass in another month or so, I hope in a month or so, you're going to see Horatio Caramanos up there. So there's always the relationship between jockey and trainer is always a very interesting dynamic. But Rosario definitely is our first call. Let's see. Michelle's taking care of some stuff. And no other ongoing cross. It's just the upfront. Right? Steve, no monthly training fees. And Steve, another key point, I'll just mention that since I think you may be, and lots of other club members will join in because a lot of club members on here. There's no chance of loss either. If the horse loses money long-term, we eat all the losses at Stables. We don't come back looking for any money if the horse loses money. So that's another great feature. But there are no ongoing fees and no ongoing monthly bills, at least on racehorses, just to be clear. Broodmares are a different bucket, but for racehorses, no. Jenny had a question before Don. I got to find Jenny's question. I don't see Jenny. Oh, Jenny Brown. I own a bit of Tory, Esposito, and Cowboy. Curious where they will head when Oakland shifts down, I think is what she means. She has a slight typo there. In May, if we still own them. Where does Jesse plan on heading? A couple. So Tori, Jenny. As it stands now, so here's our plan. Once again, always try to give everybody transparency, including the trainers we work with. The vast bulk of the claiming we will do at Oaklawn will be claims done by Jesse Cruz. We may do a claim here or there with Johnny Ortiz, but Johnny knows this. I've met with him. Everything is copacetic. He actually is fine, and he actually works really well with Jesse. They talk almost every single day, which if you know anything about the training business, that's almost unheard of, where you have two trainers who are competing businesses work so well together. But, you know, it's part of my dream that these people work well together if they're all going to be on our team. Anyway, The plan is that Jesse will do almost all of the claiming that we do at Oaklawn. At the end of the meet, which is in the very first part of May, we will take and figure out where the horses that we have are best placed. Are they best to go to Indiana with Johnny, or are they best to go with Jesse and come back east? Jesse is currently planning to go to Delaware and take a string and run in Delaware for the summer. That's the plan. Always subject to change, but Jesse is definitely coming back to the Mid-Atlantic, be that, like I said, Delaware or somewhere else in the Mid-Atlantic. But the target right now is Delaware and a string there. And ideally, the goal will be that Jesse comes east with 5 to 10 horses, and Johnny goes to Indiana with 5 to 10 horses. And it'll all just depend on which horses run for which courses and which ones are best suited for each of those situations. Of course, some of these horses may get claimed away. Torrey, Esposito, and Cowboy, for example. The chances that Torrey we keep for the entire season, I think, are low. I think we're going to put her in places and we're going to make money with her. And that'll be what it'll be. Now, if we keep her, that's fine. And that's sort of how the game goes. But that is our plan as it stands now, to kind of split them up at the end of the season and figure out what's best for everyone involved. Some, like I said, some will go north to run in Indiana and Kentucky, and some will head east. Hopefully that helped you your answer, Miss Jenny. If the Lauren, Lauren, I'm following the thread now. Everybody's handling all the questions, which is great. So it's better than me answering. Tom Arisman asked, please ask TK to comment on how Jesse likes Oaklawn. I will tell you, Tom. I spent a better part of a month there. I went every single morning. You probably saw pictures of me doing hot walking and mucking stalls and all the good stuff. I jumped right in, and I was there for every morning training. And I spent a lot of time with Jesse every morning with him. And we spent a lot of time. We had him over for dinner and all of that. So I will tell you, I'll speak for Jesse now, and then I'll tell you my own personal feelings. I think Jesse is what, like most horsemen, when they get to Oaklawn, it is a fantastic. It may be the very, very best place for racing in North America, from a horseman standpoint. They do an amazing job of taking care of owners and trainers there. The purses are fantastic. It is a wonderful facility, and it's only going to get better. They have $100 million expansion plan for the next 2 years. It is going to be by far the best racing mecca, I believe, in North America. And Del Mar is beautiful. Keeneland is awesome. Saratoga is unique beyond unique. But I am a firm believer that if we look around and 2 years from now, we will say, wow, Oaklawn is the greatest racing mecca in North America. And so I think that's part of the part. I think that's a great part of the story. So speaking for Jesse, I think he really has enjoyed it. I think it's really helped his career. We've gone out there and we've claimed horses aggressively, and I think people are taking notice of that and of him. So I think he loves it there. Speaking for Michelle and I, we love it there. It is a fantastic town. It is a fantastic food scene. It's for a tiny little town. It's got a lot of great restaurants. The people are beyond friendly. I don't know what you would call friendly. But let's multiply friendly by about 50 times, and that is Hot Springs, Arkansas. Just a lot of friendly people and a really great place to go. We really have enjoyed it there, and we're hoping to get back in April. So hopefully that answered your question. I like I said, I think he's going to be back next year too. Don Walsh asked, Virginia possible this summer? Yeah, so let me just give everybody a quick little perspective as the boys wrestle in their cat there, I see. Um, uh, 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 the Virginia is at Colonial Downs through a bunch of legislative work are going to have their first racing meet. Colonial Downs shuttered, I think it was 5 years ago, 4 years ago, somewhere in that range. And their last meet happened 4 or 5 years ago. Colonial Downs is going to come back. They're going to have a short meet this year. Colonial Downs, it has one of the best turf courses in the entire country. So I think it's going to attract a lot of Mid-Atlantic people down. The dates that they have chosen are the exact same dates as Timonium runs. So it'll be, so I think that'll be interesting. But I think we are planning, especially some of our turf horses, and especially if we have a Virginia certified horse or two, which we very well could be, having a couple of those, we're going to get them down to run in Virginia at Colonial Downs in the fall. So that's in the target, as long as it all makes sense. It's fun. Don Walsh mentioned that Oaklawn Park can't have a turf course. The reason it has historically not had a turf course is that they're not allowed to treat the racetrack in any way with chemicals, because they are actually inside of a national park. It's all of Hot Springs is basically circling Hot Springs National Forest and National Park. So they can't use chemicals. I will tell you that the racing folks there do have dreams of adding a turf course. So I don't know if that'll happen. I don't know when that'll happen, but they have not given up on that hope, just so you know. Let's see, make sure I didn't miss any questions. And I think I got everybody. Any other questions? I'm happy to jump in. We got a really nice crowd tonight, and that's it's awesome that we had a good crowd. Oh, Don mentioned that you got to bring Suffolk back. Don, I can only work so many miracles in life, is what I would tell you. So Suffolk is the last active track in New England. It's just outside of Boston. And it has for the last 2 years run a handful of weekends racing. I think 2 years ago we actually brought a horse up and raced at Suffolk that day, one of the days. My understanding, and I think you're right, Don, I think they're going to try one more time, and I think they're going to have a bunch of weekends again this coming year. I think they're going to try it again and do it at Suffolk again. There is talk about building a racetrack in New England. At least people are rattling sabers about that. So we'll see what happens. But if Suffolk happens and it makes sense for us, we may ship a horse up and run at Suffolk as well. We did that 2 years ago. It didn't work logistically last year, so we didn't do it. But it's got to be right for the horse and obviously right for us. We're not going to do something that's not going to help the horse. What else we got cooking out there tonight? Chad Glass asks, any other horses considering the turf? Yeah, there's a couple of them, actually. One that I know a lot of people pay attention to, we actually think the turf is going to be the best surface for Trapped in My Mind. We're going to run her on the dirt here a couple times here at Oaklawn and see if we can get her to break her maiden for these massive purses at Oaklawn. But we actually believe long term, Trapped in My Mind might be a better turf horse than she is a dirt horse. I think Necessary Drama is also going to make a stab on the turf as well. Vanessa asked, I saw that my pal Jerry is going to be a part of the retired racehorsing project this year. Are you thinking of having a presence at RRP? Yes. Michelle and I have been talking about going down, and we have some of the organizers and Jen Reutz, who is in charge of RRP and the Retired Racehorsing Project, and is the executive director, is actually a member of our club. So we are definitely looking at some things we're going to do with the Retired Racehorse Project this year. So it's definitely on our list. We actually have a couple horses that are going to be Wasabi Ventures Stables horses that are part of Retired Racehorse Project.
And whether TK knows it or not, I've already blocked our calendars for that weekend, so we will be in Kentucky.
I have absolutely no control over my own calendar, just so, and you guys all witnessed that just now. Any other questions from folks now that you got us into our family banter going? So I'm amazed the number of people that have cats in their pictures as I'm scrolling through. A lot of cats out there. So yeah, exactly. Just it makes a lot of sense, but a lot of cats. Oh, that's funny. While I've got everyone too, I did an announcement on Slack for club members. Just for those of you who are a part of Kaz Country, Kaz got in and is in on Friday night, and I'm already working a deal to have a sale of him after the race at Charlestown. So, but Kaz will be in on Friday night at Charlestown. Hopefully we go out with a win. Cool. Well, thanks everybody for coming tonight. It was a really great crowd. Make sure you sign up to talk to Lane Luzzy next week. We're going to do a little question and answer session. It'll get if you have ever wanted to ask questions of a jockey and what a jockey does and what their days are like and how they prepare for a race, this is a great chance for you to talk to a young, great jockey and a really good kid, by the way. Lane is just a superb human being, so it's always good to chat with Lane, and it'll be good to have him on. So with that, everybody have a great night, and thanks for joining, and we'll all talk soon. Take care.